Hey, welcome back. Once again, Madden 20, Armchair GM. We are about to go into the draft. I literally just picked up recording from the last episode. If you watched the last episode, the very end of the last episode, you hear me ramble a bunch. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that on this episode as much. I'm going to try to keep the draft moving pretty smoothly and quickly. Try not to halt it too much. But very quickly, we will look at our lineup to see where we stand. Once again, we got DJ Fluker at center. We got Kershaw. Actually, he's a little bit higher overall than I gave him credit for. He's getting a 1 overall boost, so he's 76, but he gets 77 for the boost. Offensive line, Fluker is at center, but I do need somebody that's going to be here for a few years. I think Fluker's on a 1-year deal. He's fairly old. So he's not our long-term solution. He's a short-term stopgap solution. But Howie Madden, Gary Brackens, the tandem there at quarterback, halfback, Bryce Love backing up Mr. Brackens. Caleb Balaj is back there as well. He's a pretty solid guy for a third stringer, if I do say so myself. Picked up Julio Jones. He will be opposite Juju Smith-Schuster. So we don't have to focus too hard on wide receiver in this draft. We got Armin Norman, who is a 78. He's also a little bit better than I give him credit for. But we also got DJ Chark at 78, and then Le'Veon Andrews and Malik Connor. There we go. Let's see. Davis will be coming up on contract after this upcoming season. We don't have much for depth on offensive line. That kind of bothers me. But we should be able to solve that in the draft. Defensively, Minka, I need to look and see real quick. What do you got left on your contract? He's got 2 years remaining. He's got the 2024 season, the 2025. So he's not replacing him is not a top priority, but it should be something we need to be aware of. How old is he? 27. He's not as old as I thought he was. Miles Jack is in his last year of his contract. How old is he? 28. We'll be trying to keep him pretty hard whenever we get the chance to negotiate with him. But Denton Thurman there, he's going in his second year. He's a star. He should be able to bump up his dev trait if he plays pretty well. Antonio right there at strong safety. We got Jamison and Baker on the outsides. Picked up Mr. Leon Jacobs to be backup depth. We got rid of Xavier Howard to pick up a first-round pick, an additional first-round pick. So right now it's Holton Hill and Council. I can't remember your first name, but I think it's like Taylor. Yeah. Mr. Taylor Council, they are 1-2 in the cornerbacks. And then after that, it's pretty... And Mr. Oliver at 71. So we'll try to resolve that. We need a defensive tackle behind Wilkins or above him, either or. We're not afraid to put the better man on the higher on the depth chart. But Jelani Flowers and Ellis Hampton are on the outsides. Ellis Hampton is a franchise tag player. We don't know if he'll want to stay with us after this season, but we got him for one more. I think we can franchise tag him again, but it's going to be really expensive if we do. We picked up Merriam for depth. Of course, we got Benji Walton as well on the line for depth. But let's go into the draft. Obviously, if you did not watch the last episode, then I don't know why you need the continuity. But if you're not about continuity, I'll
the Patriots
discuss my strategy anyway. Let me pause the draft once again, because 2 minutes is never enough for somebody like me. Draft is paused. Real quickly, where's my draft board? Eubanks is going to be our number one guy. I've pretty much just decided it, unless Terrell Slade was to make it to me at the 9th pick. If you look there on your left, you'll see what number picks we have in each round. If Terrell Slade was to make it to me at the number 1 pick, at the number 9 overall pick, I got to take him. I feel like I got to take him. Otherwise, I'm taking Eubanks. If both of those guys for some reason are gone, I want to take one of the cornerbacks that I have. I'm going to bump him up. I could take Leon McMullen. I don't necessarily have to take one of the cornerbacks. So I do have options. But Eubanks is probably going to be my number 1 pick. just because he's a center. That's what I need. The only reason I would take Terrell Slade is he's the #1 overall guy. And there is that possibility that Ellis Hampton doesn't re-sign with us at the end of the season, so we need somebody to replace him. He fits our scheme. So that is our options. For the 32nd overall pick, I'll be looking to grab one of these cornerbacks. I'm hoping Braden Priester, I hope Kent Lockley makes it back to us, but I expect Braden Priester to maybe make it back to us, but likely Leslie Telfer be the only one that would possibly make it back to us. He's a late first-round guy, but if I can pull one of those guys, I'll be pretty happy. And past that, we will have to discuss once we get there, because it's kind of hard to discuss what your strategy is until you have, you know, an idea of what you need to get. So without further ado, let's go forward. The Patriots have the first overall pick. Good for them. All right. Next pick.
The Redskins are now
Devon Sheldon. There goes the safety that we were looking at.
The 49ers.
Jamal Burst. There goes the wide receiver that we were looking at, possibly, but we don't.
The Raiders
not worried.
are now
there goes
on the
Terrell
clock.
Slade. That was expected, and so we
The
don't have to worry about that.
Are now on the clock.
We weren't really looking at Duke Rhines. Ashley Sparks off the board now. He's 79
The
overall.
Eagles are now on the clock.
Devontae Spikes.
The Bills are
Mike
now on
McKay. He was 77 at defensive tackle.
the clock. The Dolphins.
Leon
are now on the
McMullen. All
clock.
right, well, there went the guard, but it's all good and dandy because we can get our guy, Mr. Eubanks. But as always, let's look and see what our trade options are, because I'm not afraid to trade back a couple picks to probably still be able to get the same guy I have. I can move back to 28th, pick up a 3rd and a 6th. That is an option. I'm not afraid. I mean, it is an option, and I'm not afraid to take it. But that's for 2025. Never mind. There's no first round 2025 picks, are there? No. So let's just take our guy and be happy with it. Draft board. Blake Eubanks, early first rounder, center. We need him. May not be the prettiest pick.
Packers are now on the clock.
77 overall. I'm really content with it. He comes in and he's immediately matching DJ Fluker in overall. So we can move. I mean, we have options now as far as how we want to set up our offensive line. He's got a hidden depth trait, which is really cool. So that's pretty nifty. So now we've got to hope no cornerbacks go that we are wanting. So let's make our way through the draft
Texans
board.
Are now on the clock.
Javier McCarthy,
The Jaguars
Marquise
are now on the clock.
Ransom, JD Route,
The Falcons are now on the
Kirkland,
clock.
Cummins,
The Bengals are
Jacoby
now on the clock.
Lacasse, however you say
The
it.
Panthers are
Jalen
now on the
Woods,
clock.
Trent Coe,
The Seahawks are now on
Tobias
the clock.
Hales, Kendall Wembley,
The Ravens are
Kent
now
Lockley.
on the
There
clock.
goes Kent Lockley, so we're not able to pick him up. He was a 74
The
overall.
Broncos are now on the clock.
Trevor Flanagan, Josh Harold,
The Saints are
Perry-
now on the clock.
or Pearson Clayton. Was he one of the ones we were looking for? No, he's not. Okay, interesting. I'm okay with it.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Jared Henson,
The Bears are now on the clock.
Kendarius Daly. So there
The
goes that
Giants
other safety.
are now on the clock.
There goes Braden Priester. All right. Now it's getting
Browns
down
are
to the
now on the
nitty gritty.
clock.
Does that guy make it back to us?
The Cowboys are now
Clay
on the clock.
McGrath, Marquise Newell.
The Dolphins are
Okay,
now on the
cool.
clock.
Let's look and see what our options are, just to make sure nobody's giving us something really good. We move back to pick 54, 52. That's for next year, though. 61 for this year, 60. I don't think anything's worth taking. I feel like I got to take. I'm not going to have another Javonte Wild incident, so we're taking what we got. Let's happily take Mr. Leslie Telfer, who is still on the board. Let's see, he's a late first rounder. What is? He's a second round talent, so it don't even matter. Leslie Telfer,
The
come on
Patriots
down.
are now on the clock.
72 overall. Cool with that. He's a point over Don Oliver. But he can always get better. He doesn't have a hidden dev trait, unfortunately. But I'll take what I can get. I'll be happy with it.
The
Let's
Redskins
move
are
forward.
now
There goes
on the
William
clock.
Garcia, 77 overall. Wow.
The 49ers
Tim
are now
Holland
on
back.
the clock. The Raiders are now
Lonnie
on the
Elliott.
clock.
Deion Kirby.
The Chargers are
John
now on the clock.
Farrell. London Dawson, rather. Not
The
Landon.
Bills
Everett
are now on
Denton.
the clock.
Wow, there's some duds coming up. Some high 60s.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
All right. What are our trade options? Haven't made a trade yet. This is odd for me. Chicago can kick rocks and suck cock. Minnesota, move back. We add a fourth. No. Move back, add a fourth. Move back, add a fifth. I ain't too thrilled with any of those options. I'll just take what I got. What is available to us? Now we're just going to go by our scouted. Actually, let me look at my draft board. Is there any first round talents left that's like second round? No, it does not seem that way. Let me check scouted. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. I could go ahead and take one of these late round guys. Not necessarily with this pick, but with the next pick, because I have another second, 17th. Roy Chapman. What is he? He's a mid first rounder. Marcus Moss. Early first rounder. Oof. Late first rounder for Aaron Paulson. Both of those guys are fifth rounders. I'm probably going to try to grab one with a third round pick or a fourth round pick. I don't want to miss out on those guys. Riley Ramsey. Derek Roosevelt. He should be there. Man, there's a lot of options. I don't want to miss out on any of these guys, but I'm probably going to end up missing out on some of these guys. I hate that damn bug where it says hold to reorder. Annoys the crap out of me. Let me fix that. There we go. Alright, what are we looking at? I feel like we don't have to go left tackle. It might be best to trade back, but there's not really anything good to trade back. Do I go corner again? Early second rounder. I mean, he's going to be lower overall than the other guy. Do I take Dom Davis, wide receiver deep threat? Early second rounder? Maybe. What about him? He's early second rounder as well. Timothy Fenton. The thing is that I have first round talent guys later in the draft, so I might as well trade back. I feel like it would be best. I mean, I pick again here in a few picks anyway. Free safeties, a late second rounder, early second rounder, Sylvester Waiters. Let's trade back. I need picks for this year. I prefer to move back in the same round. Alright, Colts are giving me a second this year and a fourth next year. The Browns are giving me a second and a 5. Ugh, not too fond of those. I can pick up a third rounder and a fourth rounder from the Vikings, which would kind of give me some more flexibility on picking up those late round guys. So I think I'll actually take that.
Both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
I pick again here in just a few picks. 7, actually. Let's just hope that none of these guys that I'm wanting go.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock.
Bruce Reed was a 60. I think it said 68. I didn't catch it all the way, but
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
all right. Let's just look and see what our trade offers is. Ooh, we could pick up 2 more third rounders and a fourth rounder from the Bears, and then we would theoretically be able to pick up all them first rounders that are going to be there. move back to the 63rd, but don't gain anything for doing it. I'm not against that Chicago trade. Let's look at the draft board real quick. I know I'm dragging this out a little bit more than I intended, but I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. Scouted. How many first round guys are left? All right, we got Derrick Roosevelt. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 more first round guys available. Let's make it back up here. All right, we got this pick, and then we've got 2/3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fourths, and a couple fifths. So those 4th round picks, we could theoretically just grab all of them in the 4th round. What is the highest projection 4th round for Derrick Roosevelt? He needs to go in the 3rd round, or I could take him now and be done with it. Was he the only one that was? Leslie Jackson was the number 2. It was 2 talent. All right, so I'm thinking I go something different than I anticipated going. I'm leaning toward that wide receiver. Dustin Barnes is an option. He's a late 2nd rounder. Sylvester Waiters is an early 2nd rounder. He's an option. We do need another safety. I know we signed Ugo Amadi, but this gives us a little more flexibility possibly. What else we got? We got another halfback here. We don't need one because we got, what's his name? Bryce Love. I think we can go Sylvester Waiters here and still have plenty of flexibility to pick up all those 1st round guys and not worry about it. I don't feel like we have to go wide receiver just because we can wait another season, and we've got several decently rated guys. I mean, we got Juju. He's over 90. Julio's at like 79. Armin's at like 78. He's a little bit better than I thought he was. DJ Chark's at 78. So we don't need wide receiver. Plus, I think Dom Davis wouldn't even come close to being in the top 4. He wouldn't. I don't think he would have a. With a 2nd round talent, he's not going to have a 78 overall or even close to it. So let's go Sylvester Waiters, wherever he went. He's down here. Let's go him. I feel like he's our best value here.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
70 overall, good pick. So he's just 1 or 2 points behind Ugo Amadi. He's normal dev rate. I'm cool with that. It gives us some options there at the safety position. Let's keep moving forward.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Hopefully none of those guys that I'm wanting go.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
I get kind of worried. There's Dom Davis. He was 69, so I mean it's fine. He wouldn't even been the top 5 or 6 wide receiver on my board because Raleek Connors is 71, I think, and he's like wide receiver 6.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Tyrus Holloway.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Coy, Jay Gordon. I just noticed that I don't think there are many quarterbacks that have gone.
The Browns are now on the clock.
When do I pick again? Let's just skip
The
it.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
The unfortunate thing about this is I don't know who has went and who hasn't. So we have to hope our guy's there. All right. Dustin Barnes is still available. Is Derrick Roosevelt is still there? What is he? Late 1st rounder. I'm just going to take him.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
72 overall. He comes in right behind. He's 29th in true value, so I mean he's a good pick. 72 overall, so he'll be right behind Christian Wilkins. I think he fits our scheme too, so I'm completely okay with that. I know he had a 4th round projection. I'm going to take him in the 3rd round because he was 1st round talent, and I did not want to risk him going to the computer. Go to the next user pick.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Let's see. This is 4th round pick here, correct? No, it's third round. Alright. So, Adam Callahan, what are you? Mid-third rounder. So he's still on the board. He's a second rounder guy. Marvin Walker, but we don't need a halfback, so I'm not even going to fathom that one. Leslie Jackson's still there. He's a late second rounder. We don't necessarily need him. We just picked up Roosevelt. Wade Chapman, he's a fourth round guy. What is he? He's a mid first rounder. Might try to grab him. Marcus Moss is an early first rounder. Aaron Paulson is a late first rounder. Pat Farrell is a late first rounder. How is halfback a D when I've got Brackens and Bryce Love? I don't trust those grades. Offensive needs. Maybe it's the grade is like if taking a halfback is like a D because I don't need a halfback, so drafting one would be a D. Maybe that's what that means. Because I can see me needing a quarterback, a better backup than I have. I guess. Yeah. Question is, do I trade back? He's a late fourth round projection, but he's a mid first rounder. Man, this is tough because I'm just going to take him. I feel like why risk it?
The Falcons are now on the clock.
75 overall, hidden depth trait, 16th overall in value. I mean, yeah, why not? You know, I mean, I feel like the way to do this is just to take the guys that I know are good and then trade all the rest of my picks away. I think that's going to be my strategy. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward draft. There's not going to be much rambling. Assuming that my guys make it back to me. No! Moss got drafted. Son of a bitch. That pisses me off. Who drafted him? Ah, oh, you freaking assholes. It's not a draft unless there's controversy. He was an early first rounder too. Son of a bitch. I can't believe I missed out on him. Not that I needed him, but still, the point remains.
The Chargers
take Aaron
are now on the clock.
72 overall. He's a guard. Cool. Damn, I'm really upset about that.
The Dolphins
for no
are now
reason
on the
other
clock.
than I wanted him, and I didn't want anybody else to have him. I don't think I could have used him. I could have. I don't know. Put him at tight end. He's a fifth round guy. I ain't running the risk. I ain't doing that again.
The Texans.
I know we've already
are
drafted
now
a free
on the
safety.
clock.
71 overall, hidden depth trait. We're gonna have a lot of safeties on the team.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Pick player. All right. Future me needs to recognize if they're early first rounder, even if they can still be drafted like 2 rounds ahead of their projection. Is there any more first round talents like that I've scouted? It'd be easier if I go by the scouted. There you go. 4, 4, 5, 3. There's a 2 right tackle. 6, a 5, a 5. Some undrafted peoples. How many more picks do I got? I got this pick, and then I've got 2 more 4s, 2 more 5s, a 6, and 2 more 7s. I feel like I've drafted a bunch of linemen already. Is there any reason to take another lineman? What is he? Late second rounder. What have I drafted? Alright, I've drafted 1 right tackle and 1 right guard, 2 free safeties, a defensive tackle, a corner, and a center. So I've drafted 3 offensive linemen. I've also not drafted anybody under a 70 overall. That's pretty cool. Do I just take what about you? Early 3rd rounder. We're here in the 4th. I mean, it'll give us some more cornerback depth. There's a middle linebacker. Wouldn't hurt to have a little more middle linebacker depth, maybe. Left outside linebacker, left guard, center. I wouldn't mind defensive line help. That would probably be the most bueno. Like Jaden Parsons, I could probably flip him to defensive line. Who else was there any other middle linebacker? Left outside line. I could probably flip him to defensive line, but he probably won't have a good overall. All right, let's take the. Where'd he go? Let's take this guy. He's 2nd round talent.
The
Best
Bengals
available.
are now on the clock.
68 overall, 62 in value. Probably take a couple of linebackers and then trade off the rest of my picks.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Strong safety, middle linebacker. What is he? Mid 4th rounder. 6. Let's go back up here. He's a late 5th rounder. He's an outside linebacker. Richard Harper. Come on
The
down.
Broncos are now on the clock.
65 overall, 111 in value. I drafted him at 116. Coolio.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
All right, let's take another gander at the draft board. Been a pretty non-tense draft, honestly. Other than missing out on that one left tackle. I think it's a left tackle, Moss. I'm gonna be pissed if he's like was just ungodly because he was early 1st round projection. I mean, early 1st round talent rather. The only other guy I have any interest in taking is Jaden Parsons. He's a 5th round talent. So let's trade this pick away. And then we'll probably pick him up in the 5th round. Anything for the 2025? A 4th and a 7th. Sure, I'll take it.
Well, wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
He may not have made it to us. If that's the case, then I actually don't care. I always like to take one shot in the dark. Bryce Piercy. He's a 6th round talent. So that other guy went. It seems he went. Yeah, he went. Because he was a right outside linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. I always like to take one little shot in the dark. I may take a shot in the dark here. Oof. I want to go out on a limb and say some of these guys are not good. I'm not going to take a shot in the dark. There's no reason to waste money on a shot in the dark. And there's no reason to take a shot in the dark. So, should I trade back again? What is Bryce Piercy? Mid 6th rounder. He's a left guard. I don't need any more linemen. Mid 5th rounder. Alright, so let's trade back again. We'll try to grab that outside linebacker with the next pick. Let's see what's being offered. 2025 offers only, please. Alright, there's a 4th rounder. Next, or 2025 rather. I don't know if I said 2024. I meant 2025. Alright, so 4th rounder from the Jags and a 4th rounder from the Panthers. 124 projection, 121. Let's take the Jags.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Oh, we're still in the 5th round, so we don't even have to take that one, dude. probably still there anyway. Yeah. What is he again? He's a mid. Yeah. He's projected late. He might be there. I doubt it. I don't think it's a big concern if we don't get him. 2025. Ooh. The Browns or the Panthers? Let's take the Browns.
Hold on now. This pick is trading teams.
We are first in value. I just noticed up in the top right corner. Next user pick. Rinse and
The
repeat.
Dolphins are now on the clock.
Jay Dickens. Hey, he's still there. Let's take him.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
61 overall, 176 in true value. Cool. We can trade away the rest of our picks. There's absolutely nobody else I think there's worth taking.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Not even going to contemplate it. 2025 sixth.
Ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen, we've got a trade.
The Titans
that's wrong.
are now on the clock.
And the last pick. I can't trade it. No! They're going to make me pick somebody. That is whack, bro. Alright, let's look at the people we've scouted. Huh! We have very little options here. He's a 4th round guy, and it's the 7th round. I'm going to take a gander and say he probably is not bueno. But he has a B catching traffic, and he had a 5.8 combine. Who's available? He has a cool name, and he played at New Mexico State. Sidney McKinley. Do I take Josh Welsh just to have more? Sure. I feel like he's the best play here. It was a bad pick, apparently. But there's always got to be one. And that was the one. I know I could have took that wide receiver, but there was absolutely no reason to take him. Alright, let's take a look at the draft recap. See how well we did. I think we did pretty well. Our first pick, we took Mr. Blake Eubanks. He is a 77 overall. Then we got Leslie Telfer, 72 overall, cornerback. Then Sylvester Waiters, 70 overall, free safety. Picked up Derek Roosevelt. He's a 72 overall, and we got him in the 3rd round. Then we got right tackle, 75 overall in the 3rd round as well, Mr. Roy Chapman. Aaron Paulson, 72 overall, right guard. Pat Farrell, 4th rounder, 71 overall, free safety. He was actually better than Waiters, and we got him later in the draft. Christian Young, 68 overall, right tackle. Richard Harper, 65 overall, middle linebacker. Bryce Percy, however you prefer to pronounce it. 61 overall, outside linebacker. And Josh Welsh was a dud of a defensive tackle at 52 overall. Overall, I think we did excellent in this draft. I don't think we could have done a whole lot better, except maybe get that one particular tackle that I missed out on. Let's see who was the best player in the draft. Ashley Sparks, strong safety that went to the Vikings. Then we had Jamal Burst, 78 overall. Curious what that... You know what? It's fine. Oh my... Damn it! 78 overall, dude. 3rd round. He's like what? I think a 5th round, 4th round. I can't. 3rd round. Gosh, dang it. 78 overall. He was tied for 2nd best player. I don't know if he would even. I'm trying to calm myself here. Would he even been able to play on my offensive line? I mean, I probably could have moved him to guard if I had to. I could have moved one of my other tackles to guard and moved him to. I had options. I could have had options, and it pisses me off that I didn't get him. Also, Terrell Slade was 78 overall, so yeah. Burst 78 overall. Wowsies. But damn, we missed out on a hell of a get right there. 78 overall. Leon McMullen, he was that other guy we were looking at. He was a 78 overall. Let's see. Blake Eubank 77, so he was tied for third best. Just kind of looking through here. Roy Chapman. Oh wow, he was a get too. Well, that makes up for it, I guess, in a way. We got Roy Chapman. He was a decent alternative. 3 points lower, but you can't win them all, I guess. Kent Lockley. He was a 74 overall. That'd have been nice to have. Aaron Paulson. We did pretty good. There's Derek Roosevelt. Leslie Telford. Wow, we had 3 in a row right there. Pat Farrell. We did good. Sylvester Waiters. Kirkland Cummins. We did good. I mean, even if we did miss out on Moss, that sucks. But we did really, really good. And I'm not upset with how the draft turned out. Really, really happy. But let me go through and adjust some of these positions, get them switched around, and all that good fun stuff, and then I will show you the roster and where it stands when I'm done. And I'll see you then. Okay, so I have made all the moves I believe that are best for the team. So we will take a gander at that result, as long as the game didn't mess it up. So as far as quarterback, halfback, wide receiver, there was no changes there, no changes at fullback. Offensive line, a lot of changes made. So I took Mr. Chapman, who was a right tackle out of the draft, hidden depth trait. He is a better left guard than he is a left or right tackle, so I moved him to the inside. He gained a point in overall. And Mr. Kershaw, who was the left guard and is technically better overall, I have moved him back to left tackle, where he got better in overall. That was his position out of the draft a couple seasons back. So now he is backing up both the left and right tackles, with Mr. Whitlock right behind him at both ends as well. But I felt it was best to move Chapman to the inside to left guard because he's a hidden depth trait. He can get that depth trait found. If he's a star, he could probably progress pretty quickly, and he would surpass Kershaw anyway in the long run. So I thought that was best. On the inside, DJ Fluker is backing up all 3 positions. I have Paulson at third string on the right guard, but I put Kershaw for some reason at left guard and center. I guess because Paulson is a right guard and he's a rookie. I don't know. It hopefully doesn't come to that point. You know, I prefer not to see any of these guys hurt in any capacity, but I feel like offensive line is very strong, and depth is there if we do sustain an injury. I feel like, you know, we can handle it pretty well. Got a lot of pieces there that can be moved around. Tight end is pretty much the same. No changes there. Probably our weakest spot on the offense if you kind of negate the whole fullback situation. But let's look and see what scheme best fits us. My DualShock is about to die. Vertical zone run, 70%. Probably the best one, even though that's not that great. Yeah, vertical zone is the best. And oddly enough, our offensive line is like not made for the vertical zone. What's our offensive line made for? Multiple power run, apparently. Vertical power run. We need to we need a scheme fit better for the offensive side of the ball. West Coast power run. The offensive line is more built for, but we'll keep it where it's at. Unfortunately, can't win it all. None of my offensive linemen, except for my left tackle, fit the scheme. Any of the nope, none of the backups fit there either. It's unfortunate. Well, my quarterback doesn't even fit the scheme either. Is what it is. On the defensive side of the ball, I don't think I really changed any positions like from like a complete position change. I think I might have changed like one from might have changed Benji Walton. I think he was a left end. I might have made him a right end just to even out the roster for my OCD purposes. But I don't think there was any changes position-wise on the defensive side. I take that back. I moved Sylvester Waiters, who was a free safety, and moved him to strong safety and put him behind Antonio Wright. But Pat Farrell was technically a better strong safety, so I'm not sure why I didn't pick him. But I had my reasoning at the time. I don't know what it is now though. But safety is pretty good depth-wise. We got a lot of guys. We got Minka and Wright holding it down at the two starting positions. I've actually considered moving Minka to cornerback because he's like an 88 overall cornerback. He's a better cornerback than he's a free safety. But I don't think he played corner. I don't know what he. I think he was a safety in college as well, but I could be wrong. So I didn't move him to corner. I just felt it was best. Excuse me, as a yawn. I didn't move him to corner. I felt it was more realistic like that. Usually you have guys go from corner to safety in their career, but not really from safety to corner. I could be wrong. I'm sure there is examples of guys moving from safety to corner, but usually the older you get, you would more likely be moved from corner to safety. Kind of like Champ Bailey, I think. I think he was one example that comes to mind. Anyways, all that aside, safety's pretty good and covered. Not as concerned about it as I was last season. Middle linebacker, I mean, Thurman and Jack is right there. Jack 1, Thurman 2, and then Reke, which is apparently how you pronounce that. He is going to be backing up as the middle linebacker, number 3. I also have him as the third string outside linebacker on both sides, with Leon Jacobs as outside linebacker number 2 to both guys. Reke is actually rated better than Jacobs, but he's a middle linebacker, so I only want him in there if... excuse me. I only want him there if Leon is already spelling for one of the starters. At corner, which I think is our weakest spot on the defense, and possibly the whole team, after Holton Hill and Taylor Council, it's kind of a... kind of an icky situation. It goes from 80 and 79 to 72 to 71, and likely to have the third cornerback on the field a lot, and even a fourth cornerback on there from time to time. I would venture to say you were likely to have that fourth cornerback on the field more times than you would have just two cornerbacks in today's NFL, but I could be wrong there. But that's just how it worked out. I would probably be looking at some cornerback free agents to maybe put in there, particularly somewhere between a 72 and a 79 overall. I would like Telfer to get some playing time, but if he has to get bumped to CB4, because I do need better depth at cornerback. It's that's just how it's going to work out. Defensive line mostly unchanged from last season. The only major change would be that Christian Wilkins' backup is no longer Gottschall or Vincent Taylor, but is now Roosevelt. And then I also moved Merriam, who is a defensive end. He is technically a better scheme fit. Hold up, does that mean? No, he's a defensive end. He scheme fits defensive end. But anyways, he is a 73 overall defensive tackle, so I wouldn't mind him coming in should he need to come in for defensive tackle. And then Midgie Walton and Dixon follow suit. Flowers and Hampton on the outsides, with Merriam is backing up. Merriam backing up Flowers and Benji Walton backing up Hampton. I've got them alternating on each side. So it's like Hampton, Walton, Merriam, and then Flowers, Merriam, Walton. Don't know if that really makes a difference in anything, but you know, it's how I did it. Special teams. I can't stop yawning. It is 3:30 in the morning though. Special teams, Matt Hawk and Kaimi Fairbairn. Still your kickers. Long snapper is Martin Clifton. And kickoffs belong to Matt Hawk. With Norman got the return duties. Specialist, once again, I don't hardly ever touch this. Actually, I don't touch it at all. Let Madden handle it all. But with all that said, we are a 83 overall team, 83 offense, 84 defense. Let me look at our. I didn't look at the defensive side to see if we still fit best under the 3-4 under. 83. Yeah, 83. It's either 75 or 83, so we're gonna go with 83. I think that pretty much sums it up for this episode, which was the draft. A very successful one, I might add. Of course, next episode will be the 2024 season, where we look to repeat as Super Bowl champions. But we will have to probably grab a couple more pieces in the process, cut some guys as well. We actually got to cut several. It's like about 14, if I'm not mistaken. I think 54 is the roster limit. So we'll have to cut 14. But we're going to be signing possibly a couple of guys, cornerback, maybe another outside linebacker, another defensive lineman to help there just a little bit more. And so we may end up having to cut more than just 14 of our own guys. But there's already several guys that I've been looking at that I'm like, you know what, they're going to go. They're going to be one of the ones to go. So I'm not as concerned about that. But we are looking pretty good right now. I'm going to go ahead and take us into the preseason. Actually, I think I'll go ahead and sign those free agents, or at least look at them, and maybe sign them if they're of value. For this episode, technically, we're still in the off season until we start the preseason, which I guess we have started the preseason. Whatever, you know what I mean. Let's just look, and then we'll end the episode following that, just to have a little bit better idea of what we want to do. Wow, 77 overall left tackle is on the board. Is out there available? Wow. Levi Wallace is available, 29 years old, 76 overall. Probably sign him, though I'm going to prefer a scheme fit. Almost require myself to find a scheme fit before I sign a free agent. The best one is Cravon LeBlanc, and then Bryce Callahan. Since Levi Wallace is not a scheme fit for me, I'll take the second best available, which is either going to be Emmanuel Hankins or William Hakem. Really close names. They both have the same overall age and salary. Hankins is quicker, not as agile, not as strong. Hakem's got the better awareness, which I think ends up meaning a lot more in simulation for Madden. So we're going to take Hakem. 74, he helps that gap from 79 to 71 or 2. He helps out there a little bit. Softens the blow, so to speak. Let's look at defensive line options. Looking for anybody that may fit our scheme that's better than that. Whoop. Defensive tackle's out of the question. Wow. Very slim pickings. The best one we would be able to get would be Ben Banagu, I guess is how you say it. Right in 72, Randy Gaddis. Oh, I can't stop yawning. Holy crap. Tyler Lancaster. I mean, we don't need You don't need a defensive tackle. Justin Hollins, Landon Roberts, Elijah Lee. Hold up. First of all, where is what's his name? Because there was several guys that were not signed that like were hot commodity or would be hot commodities. Earl Thomas being one of them. Why is he not a free agent right now? Because you don't have the option to sign free agents during the draft part. That's trash water. Whatever. I don't need Sammy Dyson, but that'd be a very interesting pickup. Anything else? Colton Miller. I mean, he'd be good depth. We don't need depth. I could sign Emmanuel Hankins anyway and just have both of them. Be 80, a 79, a 74, 74, and then 71. But I would like Telfer to get some playing time, so I think I'll hold on to what I got there. Jawan James. Hey, your shitlock. I don't think there's really anything else to go grab, unless I grab like Akeem Hicks. But I don't like signing guys that are not my scheme in free agency. Nathan Shepard and Akeem Hicks are both 72 overall, though Shepard is younger and quicker. Not as good awareness, though, as Hicks. I could sign Michael Brockers, but I'm not really helping myself there. I think that's gonna be it. I don't think there's really anything else to. Well, we got 70 of 75 players. There's not really anything else to really, force myself into taking. I don't need. Cool. So yeah, it goes. All right. Well, Hill's a 79 again. He was an 80. So it's 79 Hill, 79 for Council, and then it drops off not as badly to Haycom at 74, and then Telford at 72, and then Don Oliver at CB5 at 71. So that helps that a little bit. Would still like to be a little bit better on the defensive line, though. I guess Merriam. I just bump him like so. That'll probably help it enough to be okay. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Your Miami Dolphins are the #1 value team in the league. We're about to go into preseason, the 2024 season, and Doug Peterson looking to help us stay Super Bowl champions. So hopefully we can do that the next episode. But as always, I don't really know how to end the episode. So I'm just going to say, let's do it again, boys. Let's go win the big one. See you next time.